This podcast is for you if you want to learn about the wonderful and wacky world of the English language and the people who speak it. If you want to learn English, speak English, and understand different speakers of English, then you're in the right place and you're going to love our podcast episode today. Welcome to English World with Kris and Amerikos. We are a team of language lovers, expert teachers, and native speakers who are on a mission to help people around the world speak English and show the world their true value. We correct mistakes, practice pronunciation, and explore grammar rules while drinking coffee and having fun. So get comfortable, relax, grab a pen and paper, and welcome to the show. Today's episode is brought to you by English Every Day, an unlimited speaking practice program where you can join live speaking practice lessons with professional native teachers 5 times every day. There are a lot of courses on the internet and a lot of useful videos too, but the one thing that is missing for most English learners is practice. And if you need speaking practice, then English Every Day is for you. So click the link in the description or go to krisamerikos.com to learn more today. Today we have Konstantin with us, and Konstantin and I have been acquaintances, friends for already how many years, Konstantin? I forget. What was the first year when we met?
Maybe 5 or 6 years ago, maybe something like that.
So we were always kind of in the business circles, but Konstantin knew that I had this English stuff that I do, and Konstantin's also been involved in a lot of, English speaking clubs and different courses and programs and schools.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think is different about studying online and offline for you?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a big difference? Because a lot of students around the world,
Mm-hmm.
they kind of went in 2 different directions. Before COVID, everybody,
Mm-hmm.
it was like 95% of people would say offline is better.
Mm-hmm.
But now I think that that's a different question.
Mm-hmm. What I would like to say is that I'm just trying to remember that when I started to learn English, it was real English. When I was traveling with the program of work and travel, and I was in the state of Virginia, located without any kind of Russians, and then I started to learn English much better. So it was like when I go like for work, for any kind of restaurants, you are going to some styles of communication. These situations help you to understand what's going on, what words would you like to use. And when you are online, if you can have such situations, I think they could be effective as if you are like located somewhere in the earth in the United States, or maybe like England or Cyprus, or where is English-speaking people are. I mean, when you start to learn English with Zoom, or like it's more comfortable for you, but it's really neat to live with these situations, the real situations. Probably, as you know, when the COVID starts, a lot of people start to just like restaurants online. What do they do? They just ordered the same food, like maybe like potatoes, maybe meat, eggs, and they started to cook all together. And after they go Zoom, and that what we did prepare, like communicate about this one. So this is the situation which like for all the people which was interested in cooking, right? So cooking is these situations, and a lot of people were like interested in it. So I think if you would if people make such stories, it's very I think it could be very effective via the Zoom as well as physical English language.
So you think that they can both be effective?
I think yes.
But you think that it takes more work to be effective online?
Uh, it depends on the people and it's in his tasks as well. So for some people, if he is going to be a teacher, English teacher, right? I think he should be like to get some more maybe kind of context of a situation of a people who are nearby with him. And if are just topics to communicate, just how you can travel, for example, I think it's enough for starting with Zoom, with online. I think so.
Because not everyone can move to another country or go to another country.
Yes, it's not easy now, but for example, for my last travels with United States for last month, where I made a big trip from California up to the Miami, I take my kids, take my wife to just check in hotels or pay the bills in the restaurants to feel them alive, that there are live people. You need to communicate. There are different people. Sometimes have a good pronunciation. Sometimes they just blah, 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 and so you need just to understand what they're speaking with you. And being in this context. So context is really matters. I would like to say.
Context is really important.
Important, right? I think so.
I think that that's really true, and a lot of people forget that. A lot of people think that that learning a language is like in the book, like this means this, and that's all. But the context can change everything, right?
Sure. Yes.
So I think a lot of people are afraid to do some things that require heavy use of English. Clearly, you're the opposite kind of person, but there are a lot of people who are afraid, for example, to speak with a native speaker of a language that they're studying. For example, if they're studying English with an English native speaker, or to go to a country where no one speaks their language, or to a group of people where no one speaks their language, and to be around people who you might not understand everything that they're saying. A lot of people are afraid of that. You're the opposite. You repeatedly go back to these places and put yourself in these situations, and you come on a podcast to talk in English for an hour. So how can people have that confidence to take the English that they've been learning for so long and use it?
I think that if they're afraid of something, the best deal to solve it is just to meet your, what you're afraid of, and just separate it for parts. I mean, maybe if you have like something big, just separate it for 10 parts and start with like 1, then goes to 2, after goes to 3. And when you solve the problems, like first 2 or 3, you understand that it's easy. You can really decide the others, and it's not really dangerous. So you just need to move, start moving, like to solve the problems, like the first 1, 2, 3, and after, if you maybe will find any kind of mentor, the people who takes your hand and maybe show how they solve them, these problems, it will be easier for you next time to do it by yourself, right? So this way, it could be 2 ways, I think. So the first, you just go in small steps by yourself, or you find the person who can help you, show you the way, and after you can do it by yourself as well. That's it. I think so.
That's a great strategy. So chunking things down, taking chunks and one chunk at a time, right?
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
and then finding someone who can help you go faster or help you do it better.
Yeah, and you will find your confidence. Mhm.
Uh-huh. Because you'll have so much preparation.
Yes, of course, because only preparations give you opportunity to get stuff like skills with habits, which after goes to your confidence. So only step by step and feel your confidence, you'll solve a lot of different problems, not only with English language, maybe with your business, maybe with your family or with your kids, whatever.
Mm-hmm. So confidence is really important in everything we do.
Yeah, sure. And you know what confidence is? Do you know? It's when you really think all you have, like maybe knowledge, maybe money, maybe connections, is enough for you to reach your goal. And if you feel unconfident, that means that your resources is not enough. Uh, they're small to reach this goal. You
Uh-huh.
understand?
Yeah, you don't have enough assets.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So, and the um, one more word, like it's called like self-confidence. It means
Mhm.
that you think that you have a lot of resources, that a lot of how you
Asset.
spell it? Yeah, assets. But it's really not enough for you to reach this goal. So
Uh-huh.
it's very important for you to be to have just confidence and going step by step. That's
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah. So this way you won't lose. No way. I mean, this way.
It's impossible to lose.
Yes, impossible to lose.
Uh-huh. There's no way that you can lose. I got it. Well, that's really cool. So maybe you can share with the people who are listening a little bit more information about you and like why you started studying English. I don't think we need to go all the way back there, but maybe you can share
Yeah,
some stories about how you use English right now with what you do.
yeah. Just I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman. I'm investor. I'm a business trainer, and it's very important for me to speak of the same language which my opposite person do. So I mean, it could be English, it could be Russian where I'm from, it could be billionaire, it could be the people without any kind of living, I mean, space, I mean, like
Homeless person.
yeah, homeless person, right? So just to have a big amplitude to communicate with any kind of people, just whatever, whenever, where, with whom, or what about. I mean, you can speak about everything with anybody. So for
Mhm.
me, it's really important to find this possibility to do this. And after, because I'm negation skills trainer, so understand what's his problems, what's his interests, and understand how you can be useful for him, for any person. Because for me, as I do for a living, it's much important to give a little bit more than get. You understand, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
yeah, so this way I communicate with a lot of people and just find my people, my people. So it's very important for me to have people in circles which have common interests, which you have both side uh, both side, like you like each other. I mean, sympathy, both side sympathy. And understand what kind of resources could be additional for each other. For
Mhm.
example, you have a car, I have a car. We need to go to Chicago. Okay, you can go by your car, I can go by my car. But for example, if I have gas and you do have like car, were useful for each other, right? So
Exactly.
it's very important to understand what kind of resources the people opposite of you have. So, for example, you have money, somebody has time, or somebody has, for example, knowledge or experience, or any kind of other resources, maybe connections. So I explain how to realize your social capital into the monetization or investment, like capital. So explain how to make like invest capital into the social strategy and both sides. So it works like three sides: financial capital, invest capital, and social capital. That's what I do as well. It's just one of my business, what I do internationally.
So how many businesses do you have?
We are almost in Russia. So, but for me, it's important to communicate with people all over the world. So I already visited more than 60 countries, so 60. So I think if I will speak the same language as they speak, it will be more easier for me just to reach my life goals. That's it.
So do I understand correctly that you use English more to communicate with your peers and you use Russian to communicate with your customers and your audience?
Yeah, I use Russian mostly for communicate with my customers, and sometimes I do use English with my peers as well. It could be like the people the same age or even older, doesn't matter. So for me, just every person is a resource. I mean, every person can even read his book when he is 30 or 40 years old. So it's just very interesting to communicate if you have three sides of it. So you have both ways: sympathy, you have something common interest, and you understand your resources, which could be useful for each other. That's it.
Okay. So let me make sure that I got that, since we're and make sure that everybody's following, right? So one of them you said was sympathy. So you have to like each other.
Yes.
That was the first one. Then the second one was
you have common interests.
Common interests.
So if you have like common interests, but you don't like each other, I think that doesn't work this way.
Right. And then the third one was mutual benefit.
Yes. So how you can understand your resources. I mean, well, for example, if you have both way sympathy, if you like have common interests, but if you have no resources, or you just don't want to spend your time with 0 people, I mean, that's it. Because what do you think is more for people is more important when they meet their death? Like what is
what do they regret? What do they regret at the end of their life?
Yeah, what do they regret? How do you think? What is the most important things?
Things that they had that they didn't do.
Okay, what else? Maybe free.
More time with family.
Yes.
Probably they wish they had worked less.
Yes.
Things connected to time.
Yeah. I think you told all the questions, right? So maybe they did travel small times, maybe this one as well.
They didn't travel very often.
Yes, but the most important that they spend not a lot of time with close friends, with family. This is more important because there are a lot of 0 people around you. But just to change your 150 people which you can really communicate and keep your keep your relationships very well. So that's important, because if you will try to keep like with 1,000 people, you will start to lose your relationships
Yeah,
because of the time.
that's a really good framework. So they need to like you. You need to have a common interest, and you need to find a way to distribute the resources. So,
Right.
for example, if I like you and we both like the same things, we have something to talk about, but at some point we both get hungry.
Mhm.
And if I have money and you don't, then maybe I say, well, I like our conversation, but but it's not worth me paying money. Or maybe I say, wow, this is such a good connection that I want to pay. He doesn't have money, I want to pay, and I want to continue this relationship, right? And so now we set the dynamic of the relationship.
Right. The worth is really matters. Why? Because the worth, it depends.
Value, right?
Yes, the value is depends on the time. Depends on the time, because maybe in 3 hours this person will not be hungry, right? So maybe he will go home and find the like kind of maybe steak or I don't know. And for example, if you give him this valuation, right? Maybe this evening, this person in 1 month or in 1 year would like to give it back, but it should maybe
This value, you mean the value that you gave him? He'll give it
yeah,
back?
but maybe it's not connected to the food, right? But maybe it connected to the business, or just it could be like like any kind of connection.
I think starting a business is a good example, because in a lot of cases you have two people, they come together, one person maybe had the idea, the creative energy, and maybe that person has a lot of time to put into this project, but they don't have money and they don't have any business experience. And then you have the other person who has the business experience and has the money but doesn't have the time. And so they have to make a balance. And I know that you've probably seen this situation go bad a lot of times, when people try to fight over what's a fair percentage, and then maybe they make a deal up front and then they want to change the terms later because now it doesn't feel like it's fair. And
but that's it. So how you can solve a problem is just you need to understand the value of each person who are connected with you, and give them a chance. If for you it's really not a big worth, so maybe it's just the knowledge, maybe it's just your experience, or maybe it's just your connection, right? So and give it to him, just give it to him. Maybe $5 of money is not big worth for you, but it's a big value for a person who is hungry now. So that's the way. And I think for my circles, around 80% of the people are ready to give it back for me. So it's very important, not only what you give to them, but whom are you giving these valuations? In this
value.
This value, that's it.
Well, I remember when I saw the picture of you with Tim Cook from Apple. Which trip to the United States was that? Was that the third time or the fourth? How many times have you been?
Oh, I've been to the United States more than 20 times. So I think it was maybe number 15 or 17. The trip from the year of 2018, I think, or this time or the time before, when I have a flight from Moscow up to the Dominican Republic, then I go to Panama, then I go to San Francisco. So it was the same big trip. And it was really nice to meet Tim. He was really a simple guy. He had a security girl. She was the tall of my shoulders, but it was really easy to communicate, to take pictures. I made small interview with him. He promised me that he would like to come to Russia, but he never did it after his words. Yes. So
You've been following, you've been waiting.
yeah, but anyway, maybe the situation in the world will be changed. So probably, yes, maybe Russia will be again connected to all this world, because to get to United States is really hard now, because there is no any direct flight connections. Need to go for Turkey or Emirates or somewhere else, and then we can only take some more flights to get to New York, maybe, or LA or Miami.
You know, a lot of people are right now confused about Russia, right? And the world. I think how people feel about Russia has changed a lot in the recent past. And, you know, in our first episode of this podcast, we actually talked to a guy named Hugh Deller, and he is an English textbook author, and he posts every day about how terrible Russia is and what's happening in the war. I mean, I've just said his point of view in a very simple, very basic way. That doesn't say everything, right? We talked for an hour, more than an hour. And he specifically brings up this point a lot of times about the responsibility of Russians in this situation. The Russians who live in Russia, the Russians who live outside of Russia, and not just people in the government. And there are a lot of people who take this position, right? How often are you confronted with this? Because you're more cosmopolitan than than the average Russian Ivan or Sergei. You are you know, traveling between countries and continents regularly with your family. So what do you think? Is there some kind of anti-Russian sentiment right now, or it doesn't matter to you, or it doesn't affect you, or what do you think?
For me, as I'm communication skill trainer, is really important to understand which topics can you talk
About
and which is forbidden. So politics for me is forbidden to communicate with the people I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, so if I know maybe my friends a lot of years and we're sitting in Albania, we can do that. But I'm not talking about politics when I'm traveling or what I'm doing, like when I have a lunch. So it's forbidden. The same as for example, about the like what's going on in California, a lot of gays, lesbians, and the child's involved in this, right? So I do not speak about this as well. So I don't really like the situation, what's going on in Russia, and I really hope that this situation will be in a few months will be I don't know,
resolved, finished.
Yeah, finished, solved. I know how they can do that, but there are there are 5 levels of communication. For example, the first one is when you just talk to a friend and there is no kind of resources which you really would like to get from each other. The second one is when, for example, there is a director or CEO, yes, and there is employee, for example, means the formal communication. So just like CEO tells like employee what he needs to do, and that's it. The third one is more like business communications. So there is a possibility to find win-win decisions. Win-win, like both way can win, or to find the way how you can find the
compromise.
Compromise. Yes, that's it. Then
there's win-lose, and then there's lose-lose, right?
Right. Somebody lose or somebody win, but it's not good for a future if somebody win and somebody lose. So it's not like great business, because in a like long way, somebody will have like told something about bad about you. And the fourth is just if you have like tough communications, right? When one part would like to beat you and to take all the resources. And there is the
aggressive, aggressive negotiation.
Yes, aggressive. Yes, aggressive. And the last one is the war. So when the people don't communicate at all, there is no communication. When one of the part would like to kill the second part, I mean,
right.
Yes.
Person.
So the first thing is necessary to go from the war up to the aggressive communication. I mean, to start communication. What is what more important? And after aggressive communications, go to the business communication. So there is two levels. What I'm waiting, just the first one is just start to communicate. That's more important. Maybe usually there is start communication when there is something common between these sides, because maybe it could be one more, I don't know, one more COVID or something like that, it will unite like both sides.
Unite,
Yeah, unite. So I think it could be like the way that can go ahead, maybe. So I'm not promise, just
okay. Well,
yeah,
that's an interesting framework to think about these levels of communication. And coming back to what we were talking about before, you said that you don't that politics is a forbidden topic with people who you don't know, and so I understand why you don't want to go very deep on that topic here on a podcast where 1 million or more people could hear this. So but it was interesting that you followed that by mentioning something that's very political in California and taking a position. You made a statement, took a position, right? So this is interesting because what is political, what's not, right? This is hard to say sometimes. And even saying, even the 5 steps of communication and saying that we need to go back from war to aggressive negotiation, that this starts communication, like even this, some people think that this is political, right? Like everything is political these days, it feels like. And even me doing this podcast, people are saying you're pushing the English language, you're pushing that English should be the dominant language and everyone should use English. You're pushing this idea. That's political. So people, everything we do. So where do you draw that line? Where do you draw the line?
the line in a few years will be changed, because you will just put your glass and you will just get a translation. So a lot of people, I mean, will be connected just in a few seconds because of translation at the same way. I think Spanish is even more popular than English language. I think so. I mean, more than like 3 billion or how many people speak Spanish, and a little bit less speak English. So, but for me, I think it's very necessary just to speak with a person in the same language. It couldn't be like English or Spanish, just to understand each other and understand each other's requests or problems or interests. So just understand. And I think English is easier language to learn than Russian. Easier. So for me, as I'm speaking English more than like 20 years, I would like to learn new language, maybe Spanish or even maybe Chinese, because I understand the population of the world is really connected. But when you can speak with any person the same language as he speaks, for me is really value.
Well, technology will help us get there.
It will.
Right?
It will in a few years. It will. Yes.
So that's probably another question that a lot of people who are listening right now have in their minds too, is what level of English do you feel is enough for you to conduct business in English, for you to travel in English? So for you, it was all about confidence. And you told us about how to build that confidence. That was really useful. But a lot of people think, I want to do something in English, but I just can't do that right now. My level needs to be a little higher before I can do that. So what about for you? Like right now, how do you feel about your level? And how do you feel about using English for business and things like this?
I think I'm traveling with the language of intermediate. I know that I passed some tests, and my language skills of speaking is like connected more like for advanced sometimes when I passed IELTS tests. But all I can add for it is you also have like non-verbal communication.
Yeah.
And it's really possible for you to explain a lot of things non-verbal. So if you do not remember the word, okay, just take it easy. Take it easy. You will explain with your hands or other way. Just it will give you anyway the confidence. And just in a maybe 5 or 10 minutes, you will remember this word which you forget at the moment. But you just need to go to this situation, and after you will maybe take this word for your memory. It will be more value for you next time. So you will keep it in your mind better. I think so. You just need to go to this situation, not afraid, but all you can do is just go there and meet your how it's better to call, like, fear, right? And
face your fear. Yeah.
Yes, face your fear. That's it.
So any level, is that the answer? That any level is good enough?
I think yes. So if you can use nonverbal communication, good. Okay, my family maybe don't speak English the same like level as me, but my son this year starts to communicate with the people by himself, because he would like to learn English more. He would like to speak, to have a practice, because practice is all you need to improve your English. Let's say.
Yeah.
As you just need to speak with people. I mean, okay, if you have possibility to have not one lesson, but maybe 2 lessons a week, let's do twice a week. If you have possibility to make your lessons not half an hour, but 1 hour, let's do 1 hour skill like training. So just you need to be involved, just to spend a lot of time in this communication. You will find how we can easily go through it and find the problems just each day more easier. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
That's great. So, how often do you fly?
Oh,
It
okay.
seems like you're always flying or always somewhere, not at home.
Yeah, I really think that travel gives you a good possibility to meet new people, and that means that it gives you new knowledge, because new information. If you have a big predictability for your life, it's good. But for example, new information you can get from new people, and this way it's really important to meet them. And maybe it could be not your city, but the city maybe in 2 hours flight, and it will give you maybe a new information how you can use for your business, for your social life, for your relatives, for somebody else. And I visited more than 60 countries all over the world, but I would like to maybe to visit more because I'm only 39. I will be 40 in 1 week, in 2 weeks, yes, in 2 weeks. But it's only half of my life, so I still have possibility, and I will do it. I'm sure my body will help me because I do sports. I do correct. I mean, the food I eat is usually the correct food. I mean, because I have a wife, she's a dietologist and endocrinologist. She explained how it's better to what kind of food is better to put into a month.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it. So, and what about travel? I think if you understand how you can do that, how you can get your visas, which way, it's still possible. It depends on you, really on you, and what you want to achieve in your life. Because every year, every minute spent, it just you understand when you will put your clocks the other way, like you just lose your
An
life.
hour.
Yeah, your life. And then
That's funny. That's a funny metaphor.
yeah, and when you see it, when you watch it, you will be starting to move more fastly. I mean, you will be trying to reach more goals, trying to do more things, which is really important for you. Yeah, so it's just one way. Just put the like your watches the other way, like
Turn the clock back an hour.
yeah, turn
It's
it back.
like daylight savings time.
Right. Just try to live this way and understand how like, okay, if one of the things I advise for my students is just to put the date of your when you will die. So for example, you can put like 80 years. Okay, so for example, I'm on the middle of my life for now. Okay, if you would like to live up to like maybe 100 years, so you still have like 60 maybe, right? But anyway, every year you will lose your 1 year, but the time when you are more effective, maybe it could be up to the 60 years, maybe 65, and after you will just live and nothing maybe will be is going on like
Just retired.
right. So when you are young, you are more effective. So just try to reach more when you're effective. Don't lose your time. That's it.
True. I just have to come back to this topic because I know that people who are listening and watching will want to, hear from different sides. And we've already had one side, and not necessarily sides, but there are opinions that people have about how people act at different times in history, right? So like, sure, lots of countries have problems, and I mean, the United States has plenty. If you come here, everybody loves to tell you about them, right? American people just love to talk about all the problems that America has. And so, and like, these things happen all over the world in every country. But when a country is at war and people are posting, their Instagram, their food, their vacation, their flight, and I do the same thing. I'm still living my life, and I'm still showing people these things. And sure, social media is a marketing tool, but some people have the opinion that, why would you do this if you know that other people are suffering, right? Why would you, pretend that it's not happening? Or why would you? So people might make different reasons for why this is happening, right? And really, I try to, like, we in our team, in our company, we have people in Russia, Ukraine, all over the world, in different countries. And the person who's going to edit this video is Ukrainian. And so, I think it's hard sometimes to be in other people's shoes. And it's hard to understand, like you said before, it's all about context, right? And so somebody is in a certain context in their life, and it's terrible. But then that situation can become projected onto you. And now, how can you do that? And it happens lots of different ways, right? But in this situation, it's just something that everyone can kind of see right now and people talk about. So I thought I would just put that out there. I'm not trying to set you up for something, but yeah, what's your opinion about that? How can you deal with living your life at the same time that other people say, you need to be thinking about something else? How do you deal with that?
In all of way communications and your post, it's very important to feel the sense of inner truth inside of you. If you can do that in this context, you can do that. If you are not participant on this conflict, okay, you are not. If you are in this conflict, it is another context, and you need to do another things. Okay, I feel like that I'm still can travel. I can still make photos of my food. I help guys if they need help. I can help the other guys if they will ask me for a help. And it depends on my connections with them, not about politics. Anyway, it's not connected to any kind of politics. I'm not the participant of this conflict, but you can speak with people inside of you and understand these problems. If you can help them, if you can solve them, please do. But it's personal. It's not about the politics. That's it.
But don't you think that any connections, like business, that grows big enough connects to politics? Because if you keep growing, like look at Facebook or Google,
yes,
right?
Yes, understand what it could be a problem. It could be a problem. So this way, I will just suggest just to be in the middle. I mean, just just
like a mediator, like a person helping in the middle.
yes, just try. You are not the person who makes this conflict. Just try to all the conflicts will solve in the future. So try not to communicate about the past. Just communicate about the future. And it's really important for you if you just want to solve any kind of conflict. That's it. All the conflicts will be solved in the future. So just try to keep the relationships. Just try to understand what their problems, what their interests, and just trying to keep them as much as you can do. I know that this kind of situation could be it's like lose-lose. Everybody lose. Okay.
Right.
It's just to it's necessary to understand how you can find the way you can lose less, and your person you can which can lose less. That's it.
It's just about hedging.
Yes.
Hedging against this big risk.
Yes, correct.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. And I guess like this really touches on your identity, like who you believe you are. Like, do you identify as Russian?
Yes, I'm Russian, but I identify for me as a Russian, but I am the man of the world anyway. So
but why do you need to be Russian then? If you're a man of the world, why do you need to be Russian?
I just was I have a Russian passport only. So if I'll get another passport, I can speak, for example, I'm a Turkish and I'm Russian, or I'm American and I'm Russian. It can be like both ways, but I name myself by the passport, but I feel myself back as a man of the world. And I'm not ashamed that I'm Russian. Russia is a really big country. Sometimes, yes, the crisis comes, and not only for Russia, sometimes for whole the world, or sometimes for America. But I feel myself okay. I'm Russian, and I'm the man of the world. That's it. It's my position. So that's it.
Yeah. No, I'm just trying to understand exactly how that works, because like you're Russian and a man of the world, right? I mean, I guess I have to say the same if we get technical about it, because I have one passport, I'm American, but I feel like a person of the world. But at the same time, I grew up here, and family is here. And do you think that we will ever move away from having these in English it's hard sometimes. Nation can be like a country, but nation can also be like a group of people. If we just talk about the country, can we ever move away from having nation countries to having, a planet country?
Anyway, I think not in this century, like not in 21st century, and such conflicts between like Russia and Ukraine will divide these countries maybe more than 10 years, even more, maybe
more than that. Yeah,
I think so. So if we will be each year less conflicts between maybe Turkish and Syria, between Russia and Ukraine, between any kind of conflicts, all the conflicts are because of resources.
right.
So some needs like gas, some needs money, some needs maybe any kind of
friendship,
yes,
comfort.
yes. Yes, so when everybody can understand which can resources do they have and how they can sell it or change it or this way after it probably, right? So maybe there's gonna be what which we just talked about. Maybe it could be because of the population of the world will be decreased. I mean, when it will start when the planet will start losing population. I mean, we're now like 8 billion world, 8 billion.
Mhm.
But in a few years, the AI will come to our planet, right? So we won't need a lot of like hands for work. A lot of things will be done by robots. So, and a lot of people don't want to make the babies. I mean, they feel the same, feel they good if like they have maybe one baby, or if they like have maybe a dog, it's good for them as well. So this way population will be decreased. And if we will be maybe 1 billion people all over the world, so there is no necessary to have like 200 countries. So it's going to be maybe like 30 countries, like
But
stuff
how are we going to decrease the population that much?
uh,
I
yes, AI.
AI will decrease it, you think?
I think yes, because you don't need like a lot of jobs which are now doing like taxi drivers, or like it will be robots. So you will just having automatical cars, and that's it.
I was thinking something different.
No.
I was thinking that people will marry robots and the population will go down.
Yes, this way could be as well, because it all depends that women don't want to have a lot of babies, because it makes their lives like not so happy, because they want to travel, or they want to just to have more like
It's a big sacrifice.
yes, yes,
A big
so
sacrifice.
yes, yes. So it all depends on our next generation Z, and our like we're adults, so we'll maybe like 30 40 years old, who can explain to them how it's better to live, what is really a value for them. Let's see, I think.
Konstantin, thank you so much for taking the time to have this chat with me today about all kinds of different crazy topics. Tell everybody how they can find you.
Okay, everybody can find me on my Instagram. The Instagram of me is Perminov dot mentor, like PERMINOV dot MENTOR. That's
And we'll put the links in the description too.
yeah. Thank you, Kris. So I also make a test, psychology test, in if any body from the listeners would like to pass it. I can give a link for passing
Okay.
the test. It will help to understand which kind of position do they take around their circles about yeah, near
It helped them become clear on their positions.
yeah. Okay, thank you.
Very cool. So yeah, we'll put the links in the description, and yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Kris. Have a nice day.
Thank you for tuning in to English World with Kris Amerikos. Now it's your turn. Don't just listen to English, speak English with us every day. Join our English Everyday speaking program today. See you in the next episode. Bye bye.